Welcome to our part 4 of ASP.NET Core MVC, and in this section we will discuss about the concept of different type of views. A view is the user interface part of an MVC pattern, and it is responsible for presenting data to the user and rendering the final HTML response that goes back to the browser. Typically, a view is categorized into three different categories, and the first category is termed as standard view. In this standard view, we don't have any kind of model, or in simple term, standard views are those views which are not tightly coupled with a model in an MVC ecosystem. On the other hand side, a strongly typed views are those views which include a model reference. Partial views are again divided into two more categories, which are called as static partial view and a dynamic partial view. We are going to discuss more about partial view in the next session, but let's deep dive into it about a standard view and a strongly typed view. I'll navigate back to Visual Studio, and in this project I had a controller called as customer controller. This customer controller consists of a single action method with name as index, and I also have a view which is named as index.cshtml. As you can see, as of now, that this view does not consist of any model, hence it is a standard view. It also means that I am not able to pass any of the data from my controller back to the view if I use a standard view. If I want to convert this standard view into a strongly typed view, the very first step that I have to do is I have to create a view model. View models are nothing, they are just DTOs which consist of some getter and setters, but they are useful for passing a data from a controller to view and vice versa. So I'll create a customer view model, and inside this customer view model, I will quickly include two property, which is, let's say, first name with its getter and setter, and then last name. Now, in order to pass data in this view model, I have to go back to the controller and I need to create an instance of this customer view model. So I can write it down, model object is equals to new. And once I create a new object of this customer view model, I need to assign a value of these two properties. So let's say the first value or the first name is Rahul and last name is Pandey. Now if I want to pass this data to my view side, I need to grab this model object and pass it inside the view. And in this way, I am able to pass a customer view model into my view object. This is not over yet. We again have to go to our view part and we need to declare a directive on top of it, name as model. And this directive should include the reference of that customer view model. And by doing these changes, if I execute my project and if I run this action method, I will be able to pass first name and last name towards my view. Now this view becomes a strongly typed view. It is no more a standard view. And if I have to display the data that is coming inside this model, I need to create certain HTML elements. So let's say first name is @model followed by first name. You can notice that whenever I write @model, the IntelliSense is giving me the property from a customer view model only. It is not giving me from somewhere else. I can again show this thing to you by passing a last name. And in this way, you can access the property that are defined inside your customer view model or any of the view model that you had created and that you have strongly typed your view with it. Let's run this code and see the output. So once I run this application and once it rendered the output on the UI side, you will see my first name and my last name is transferred from my controller to my view, and this gives me an example of a strongly typed view. It also means that I am not able to pass any other class reference inside this view object. So for example, if I create another view model and let's call this view model as address view model, we are going to use this address view model at some later stage also. But as of now, let's declare a property inside it named as city only. And now if I jump back to my controller and instead of passing an object of customer view model, if I pass an object of address view model to my view object, I'll get an error. So I am passing this address view over here and I am again running my code. It will compile properly and it will not give you any kind of compile time error. But at runtime, it will say that I am expecting a customer view model, but you are passing an address view model and hence it is not able to process my request. So that means that if a view is created a strongly typed view, you have to pass the same class reference from your controller itself. Passing other reference will not work. Now, the next concept that we should discuss in this session is what if I want to pass a multiple model? Or can I include a multiple model directive over here? The answer is no. A single strongly typed view can only have a single model directive. You cannot pass it. Even if I hover over the error message, it says the model directive may only occur once per document. But the question is, what if I want to provide a multiple model inside my view itself? In that case, if that is a requirement, you have to create a wrapper view model. So I can call this view model as customer address wrapper, and inside this view model, VM for view model, I will include a reference of both the models. So public customer view model, and let's give the name as customer, and public address view model, and let's give the name as address. Now you have to reference this view model inside your index method. And in this way, you will be able to pass both the model to your view. Obviously, you have to modify this code as well. So model.customer.firstname and model.customer.lastname. The same thing we have to make modification in my controller side. So now I have to return an object of a customer address wrapper VM from my controller. I can quickly do this by creating a new object, and inside a new object I need to pass customer, which is my new customer view model. I can have the same name, let's say Rahul, and the last name is Pandey. And I can also pass an address view model with the same detail, and this time the city is maybe Delhi. And with all these changes, I need to pass this customer address from my view object. I can get rid of all the other things which are not necessary. Now, if I again run this code, you will notice that I will be able to pass a customer detail on my view side. And now I am getting the same output, but this time I am referencing a different wrapper model. I can also print the details from my address view model. So I can write it down model.address and then followed by city. So this model property is very generic property, and whatever you will write it over here, it will take a reference of this top level model. So if you pass a string, it will take a reference of a string. If you pass a complex object like this, it will take a reference of that complex object. And if I again run it to do a final testing, you can see that I am able to display all the content on my UI side. So in this way, we can say that the views are basically divided into two different categories. A standard view does not include any of a model property, whereas a strongly typed view consists of a model on top of it. It also means that you are not allowed to pass any other object instance if a view is strongly typed view. By doing this activity, you will get an error message. This is all about two different type of views in MVC, and in the next session we'll discuss about the concept of partial view in detail. Thank you.